Hey, welcome everybody to our Relationship Warrior TV channel where we help people to stop attracting narcissistic partners to really find the love they truly deserve. I'm Scott O'Meara.
And I'm Britta Jennings.
And today we're going to talk about the 3 ways that you can heal from narcissistic abuse. Before we go any further, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please subscribe and make sure you allow the notifications so we can let you know of any upcoming videos that are coming out so we can help you to heal in your narcissistic journey. So, 3 areas of how to heal from narcissistic.
Yeah, you may feel like you can never heal. We have a lot of ladies we work with and they think it's impossible. They feel like they're always going to be carrying the trauma from the narcissistic men they've had in their life in the past, or narcissists overall that they still have to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, and one of the best way to do this is to really cut that communication, to make sure that you leave that energy behind. And it could be hard if you're having children with an ex-partner. That's a different subject which we'll talk about in a moment. But it's really important for you to heal and move forward. You want to cut all communication, because communicating with that person is only going to end up one way, and that's in disaster. And that's because what happens is that they want to hoover you back in. See, narcissistic people always need to have control. They always want to have you serving them. They want to make sure that you're always there for them. So when you start to break free from them, the first thing they do is they start to up the ante. They start to do very controlling behavior. And that could be things like financially, not giving you money for the kids or yourself. It could be calling you all the time. It could be more love bombing. It could be just even a violence. So it's really important to make sure that you really do clear yourself, because the quicker you can get away from a narcissist, the better. In an ideal situation, if you could just poof and leave the country, and
that would be ideal.
That would be ideal, but we know it's not always a reality.
If you have children with a narcissist, that's impossible. But the main thing is taking the emotion out of the communication. So of course you can't just have no communication most of the time, because if you're sharing custody of children, that's impossible. So the main thing is take that emotion out. So no matter what they say, no matter what blame they say, just act as if they haven't even put that in the message. Just wipe yourself clear of it and treat it more as a business deal. So just reply with facts, or just reply with what you need to reply with. If it's about pick up information about your children, but don't embrace in any drama at all, because that's when you start getting unstuck, and they feed into that and love that you're creating a drama back with them. So if you do have children, big thing, keep it very basic. And if they are very rude to you, don't embrace it. Tell them you'll not respond to the messages unless it's purely about arrangements for the children. So you start taking control over the situation and stop letting them control you all the time.
100%. And that's the key here. They will look for ways to unhinge you. And that could be saying something that's very hurtful, like, I didn't like you anyway because you're putting too much weight on. It could be something like, you're a bad mum. They'll go for usually the heart, and they'll try giving these verbal abuse to try and derail you, so you will go back to them. See, the best way for them is to make you to feel like you have no worthiness, that you have low self-worth. So that way you feel like, well, I should go back to him because I'm not really good enough. I'm not worthy of finding someone who would treat me right. And you will be more inclined to go back to him. So they're very cunning and very, very cunning with the way they go about things. They're very manipulative and they're very calculating.
And they can still love bomb too. Once it's over and they've moved on, they can still love bomb you. Even though they're about to get married to someone else, they want you to still feel that connection. Even though they've completely moved on, they don't want you to move on. We just had a lady the other day who we're doing work with, and she said how her ex was saying, I miss you, I think about you all the time. And the next thing you know, he announced on social media the next night that he's getting married. So they like to have you still pining for them and wanting them, and they believe in their mind that you can't move on past them.
And they don't want you to move on either. They really do want you to be subservient to them, and they like to, again, have that control. When you do find a new partner, if you are ready for a new partner, that's when they can start to get a bit more controlling, because they're like, oh, hang on, who's this guy around my children? And also too, they're thinking they've been replaced. And that's a massive insecurity for a narcissist, because again, their biggest issues is lack of control, lack of insecurity. The biggest fears is not having any control of their lives, and to feel hurt, to feel vulnerable. And not having control equals vulnerable or vulnerability for narcissistic partners. So it's really important. What you can also find on the flip side is when say you find a new partner, that if he's a strong kind of personality guy, that they'll usually become subservient to that guy. They'll back away. See, a narcissist, when approached by someone that's not you, generally will back away. They're very mild and meek in the workplace, and also too with their group of friends. And we notice a lot of narcissists are the life of the party, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They muck around, but what they're doing is they're actually still quite subservient. They're looking for attention, but they're not the alpha male in that group.
Definitely.
So another area we need to look at is on how to heal is not just cutting that communication, but also to heal. Now, healing is the most important thing of how to getting over a narcissistic relationship. Because if we can't heal, how do we move forward? We stay stuck in that vibration, and we stay a lot of time, controlled by that narcissist, because we are not stepping into our own power, our own identity, and we are being controlled by them still.
And also, we close the door to the right person, because from all the hurt and trauma, we have too many fears to attract the right guy in case they turn out to be another narcissist. So unless you do work and heal around the trauma from what you've gone through with narcissists, you'll find it's very hard to trust again. It's very hard to purely open up your heart. And you can find that you are quite controlling in that relationship due to what you've been through, because you want to control it this time, because last time you had no control. So it's very, very important to start the healing process. So that's not just about going through talking about the emotions, because the more we talk over and over about our past trauma, we keep on reliving that trauma. So it's about getting deep into that subconscious to shift out that heavy energy around the trauma and the beliefs it create from the trauma as well.
Yeah, so if we stay, like you said, if we stay in that trauma, if we stay in that place of unhealed, what we're doing is we're actually putting out that vibration out to the universe, e.g. the dating world, or a website, an internet dating site, or wherever it may be. And what you're doing is you're attracting men that are still unhealed. So the chances of you attracting a narcissist after already being with a narcissist is quite high. Matter of fact, from our statistics, it increased by 50%. So if you've been with one narcissist, the chance of you attracting another one is a minimum of 50% chance of attracting another narcissistic relationship. So, and it's no surprise, because if you haven't healed properly, we're still basically sitting in the same space. And like you said, Britta, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because if you're still in that space and then you start becoming controlling through fear, a fear of being controlled by someone else, then you can take on narcissistic traits and start being the narcissist in a relationship. Not that you are, but you can actually take on that behavior. So it's a very interesting area, but healing is the most important thing that you need to do. And healing is it's such a massive area. We're talking about things like meditating, healing from your childhood, healing from your relationships, building self-esteem, self-worth, healing the heart, removing blocks that you had which caused you to attract the narcissist in the first place. So if we keep on going on our same trajectory and we don't do that healing work, we're going to get the same results.
And all the time ladies say, why can't they do the work on themselves? But unfortunately, from what we've both discovered is, a lot of narcissists don't admit that they are narcissists, and they actually might even call you a narcissist. So they don't believe they need healing done. So the best thing is to allow yourself to heal, so that then you can become a beautiful, empowered empath instead of a disempowered one, and you can start attracting the men that do love and respect you as much as you love and respect them. And in the workplace as well, to actually be seen for who you are, and not have, if you might have narcissistic bosses or colleagues, and it can be very difficult. So by healing, you can find that you stop attracting that, because you can find if you go from different job to different job, it's like you keep on finding there's a certain person in that job that always tries to bring you down or attacks you. So it's that when you heal in yourself, it's like you cut off that energy of attracting these people. And that's the next step we're going to talk about, how to do the energetic disconnections to really break free of a narcissist energy.
Yeah, if we don't break free from that energy, what we're doing is we're still stuck in that space. And again, we still are feeling that control. We also too are still experiencing that hurt. And what we're doing is we're still in that space. And the technique that we do, there's a couple of techniques, but the two major ones are energetically divorcing someone from a narcissist, but also to doing it on a soul level. And you may have heard the term soul ties and things like that. It's very similar to that. But we want to make sure on a soul level that we disconnect so we can break free from that energy. Because when you enter into a relationship with someone like this, it's very toxic. You're taking on their soul fragments and they're taking on your soul fragments. So you've got that real close soul connection. We want to disconnect that, break free, so we can then release ourselves and take our own identity back, and to move forward and make sure that we just create the love that we want to create in the future.
Yeah, because if not, you'll find you're thinking about that person a lot, or they'll even come into your dreams. It's because you've still got that connection. Even if they're not in your life right now, you still got that tie, like these invisible cords that are attached to that person still. And that could be why you're not moving on properly in a new relationship, or why your self-love has been so shattered that you don't actually have strong self-love and self-worth for yourself anymore, because you're still tied. You're leaking out your energy to that cord of all that heavy drama and trauma that you've been going through or have gone through.
Yeah, so they're the three ways, the three, I guess, main ways you need to be able to heal and move forward. Obviously, there's a lot of things in between that, but if you have that as your main outline, that needs to be your strategy. So those three areas needs to be your strategy to move forward. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope that explains, or trust that explains everything. And we're looking forward to discussing more issues around narcissism.